Hey, what's up, guys? Today, we're gonna be checking out some of the weirdest, creepiest, and most obscure places on the internet. This is episode 2 of a series, and I'm also working on an iceberg to come out here soon. Anyways, grab a drink and a snack, and get somewhere comfortable, because this is gonna be crazy. So, you might have heard of World Corp Enterprises before, but there's a good chance you aren't familiar with how deep this actually goes. There's a lot to discuss when talking about World Corp, and the timeline is pretty hazy, but I'll try to keep it as clear and concise as possible. On the 30th of March 2016, the first song was posted to World Corp Enterprises' SoundCloud account. I can't find exactly when the account was created, but it was probably just somewhere around then. They then released a further 7 tracks throughout the course of a little less than 2 years, their final song being released on the 15th of February 2018. However, this was only a small collection of their music, as there was a lot of other stuff that was posted to their website, worldcorpo.net. This website is down now, but it was up for a solid amount of time, somewhere from early 2016 to late 2018. On the final capture of this website that I could find on the Wayback Machine, there appears to be just 3 main sections on the homepage. We'll start with music. This is just a page of 10 songs. The music itself is honestly pretty well produced, the writing isn't horrible, and the samples are all pretty unique and well implemented. But this isn't the needle drop, so let's get back to the weird stuff. Clicking on the images section just takes you to a gallery page of all these purple, red, and blue photos all in this, like, VHS, vaporwave-esque aesthetic. These images place an emphasis on religious imagery, especially Jesus on a crucifix. None of these pictures are really out of the ordinary, except for this one that's just a guy's head split in half. Once you click on the videos section, though, is when it stops just being a spooky internet ARG and kind of makes you think, okay, maybe these people should be in jail. There's a bunch of videos on this page, but there are 3 in particular that are genuinely concerning. The first of these is Each Day I Grow Some More. Although you can't really see anything in the video, you can hear a grown man tauntingly singing the theme to Caillou, while a young child is screaming in fear. I'm not gonna play you any of this footage because it is genuinely harrowing. Although this video could be fake, it just feels too real to be. The child repeats multiple times phrases like, "How can you do this to me?" and "I'm only a kid," while whoever's filming continues just basically demeaning this kid by taunting him. I don't think this video is even as bad as the next one, though, called Fatherhood. This video is kind of similar, as you can definitely hear both an adult and a child, and the adult is harshly making disgusting comments about the child. The final of these videos is one you might have heard before, and this is the Dreamer's Heaven video. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about the whole Dreamer's Heaven thing, but essentially it was a pedo ring that exchanged CP. Now, I know you're curious since I haven't played you any of the footage, and you want to go look it up, but I strongly advise you not to. I normally try to keep things pretty objective on this channel, but this is the kind of stuff that's genuinely awful. This is the kind of stuff that is, like, genuinely sickening, and I don't know how people live with themselves after doing this kind of stuff. Anyway, after World Corp stopped uploading music to their Spotify, which was eventually removed due to the unregistered use of samples, they began making music under a different name, Autistic Boys Money Clan. This account has released 2 albums, one in 2018, the next in 2019. Both of these albums are pretty standard for World Corp's music. Well, one of the more prominent figures in their music business is a rapper who goes by the name Money Goblin. This guy is not only a rapper in the World Corp scene, but from what I can tell, he does have somewhat of an online presence elsewhere. Not really anything that interesting, though. Well, I'm not sure if this is confirmed, but from what I've seen in comments on the World Corp music pages and other YouTube videos, I'm pretty sure the 2 videos we discussed earlier were made by Money Goblin. Basically, he was using his little brother as the child in the videos, as he essentially abused him. This kid is probably permanently traumatized from what his brother did to him, and Money Goblin is just making shitty rap music using these videos as promotion. This is kind of what Parallel Pipes was getting at his Internet Iceberg video when he covered World Corp, but there comes a point when it stops being a spooky internet ARG and becomes genuine child abuse and what is literally illegal. All in all, it's a really bad situation. Honestly, I think it was just a group of edgy teens who wanted to promote their shitty rap music by being, well, edgy. Of course, this doesn't justify their actions or even explain them, but I think it gives a bit of insight to the whole thing. I think it's safe to say that the people responsible for all this are not mentally right. You kind of have to be really disconnected from reality if you think this is an appropriate way to promote rap music. I don't know, it's just tough to think about. I'm sorry if this section has been a little depressing. I just felt like it needed to be discussed. I didn't feel like there was enough recent information on the topic to give it closure. So, Engineering Red is the name of this Russian documentary that came out in 1993. It's also called
Конструктор красного цвета.
This film tells a fictional story, but splices in actual footage of surgeries and conjoined twins and other medical stuff like that. I did watch this movie. It's like an hour long. The surgery parts are pretty nasty, as most surgeries probably are. I don't know if the stuff they did was regulated or the proper way to do the surgery, because I don't know about the health precautions up there in Russia. I don't speak Russian, so I don't know what they were talking about most of the time, and I couldn't tell you what the actual story was, but I'm pretty sure it was about creating an artificial superhuman by taking parts from a bunch of different people. Don't quote me on that though. The film shows these two conjoined twins named Dasha and Maria. Now, I wasn't entirely sure if these were the twins that the movie was talking about, but I went back and used Google Translate to transcribe it, and it does say their names. These twins actually did have a pretty sad story. Shortly after they were born in Moscow in 1950, they were taken away from their mother and sent to an institute to be studied. The mother did allow this under the condition that she could maintain custody and visit them regularly. After a few days of this though, the researchers didn't want her to keep custody, so they told her that the twins had died of pneumonia. This wasn't true, and they continued running these really unethical tests on the twins. For example, they packed one of the twins in ice and froze her to nearly lethal temperatures so they could examine the temperature of the other twin. They were starved, burnt, electrocuted, and a lot of other stuff. This situation is now considered a case of medical torture. They were actually given the opportunity to be separated by a British surgeon who specialized in Siamese twins, but they refused because the procedure was obviously pretty risky. On the 14th of April 2003, Maria died of a heart attack, which killed Dasha a few hours later due to contamination. Other than that, this movie doesn't really show anything notable that I could find. Other than the gross stuff, it was pretty standard, at least as standard as a psychedelic style movie gets. It gets a 3 out of 10 for me. It made me lose my appetite. So, before we get into this one, you should know that there's a mobile app called Sleep as Android. This app tracks how well you sleep and records any noises you make while you're sleeping. Experience using Sleep as Android app is the name of a Reddit post that was made public on January 2nd, 2014 by a woman named Jenny. The post reads as follows: I use an app called Sleep as Android to improve my sleep. One of the features is that it records your nighttime noises. Snoring, sleep talk, cover ruffles, coughing, etc. I've been using the app since October 1st of 2013. I've never caught anything other than sounds created by me changing positions or coughing or something like that, although I've been told several times I talk in my sleep by other people. On December 30th at 2:04 a.m., I caught something very weird. To set up, this night I was sleeping in my bed. My 3-year-old was with me that night as he is scared of the dark. It was just the two of us in the whole house. The next night, I decided to go through and delete my recordings and saw this particular recording. In it, you can hear some clicks that start to get louder over the course of the recording. Eventually, you can hear me say, "What are you doing?" And immediately after, there's a deep voice that says nothing. The clicks become very loud at that point, and at the very end of the recording, you hear the same voice say, "That's them, I think." I am pretty creeped out by this. I don't remember being awake that night. The only plausible explanation is that I answered my own sleeping talking, but the voice doesn't even sound like me or something I could emulate. It definitely doesn't sound like a voice my preschooler could emulate either. I have no idea what the clicks could be. I keep a fan going at night for white noise, but the clicks sound like they're coming from right near my phone, which is placed right by me on the bedside table. I want to say that I've picked up the clicks a few times on recordings before, but deleted them thinking it was nothing. This is the first time I've ever heard anything though. So, right off the bat, sounds pretty creepy, but also just like an average ghost story on the internet. Jenny did, however, provide a link to the actual recording, and I'll play that now.
What are you doing? Okay. That's right.
I'm gonna be honest, it's pretty creepy. It's definitely not a sound that a 3-year-old could make. Like she mentioned in the article, it's possible that she was the one that replied, but some people did some debunking and found that when Jenny first says, "What are you doing?" her voice was around 265 hertz, but the voice that replied was around 95 hertz, which is really deep. Most people think that this was either a man's voice or an elderly woman. Now, if you believe in ghosts, then that's up to you, but what's most likely happening here is a break-in. There's a lot of rustling throughout the recording, which could be the person rummaging through Jenny's belongings, and after this occurred, she said that she put up some cameras and other security measures, and it hadn't happened since. On April 21st of 2015, she made an update stating that she had moved from the house where it happened and that she wouldn't be making any more updates. Now, we'll probably never know what actually happened that night, or if it was even real, but, I mean, it was probably an intruder. The woman continued to update this post for over a year, and she sounds pretty genuine. I don't know, it's a weird situation. Thank you for watching this one. Like I said at the beginning, I'm working on another iceberg to come out hopefully in February or March, so stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, you can check out my other stuff. It's pretty cool. See you in the next one.